All right, so today what we're going to be talking about is how to write exponential equations whenever we have a word problem. So what we're looking at today is we're looking at two different types of formulas, and we're going to focus on them here at the beginning. The two formulas we got is y equals a times b to the x power, and then we also have y equals a times 1 plus r to the x power. Now these two formulas, they can be used to solve any exponential formula, and they're pretty much so the same formula. The only difference is that with one formula, the a times b to the x power, we normally use this one to write something if it's doubling, tripling, or quadrupling. The problem over to the right, 1 plus r, usually is used if we're using percentages or fractions or halves or something like that, where it's telling us that we can write it as a percentage. So we know that we can use this from time to time as well. Now, let's look at the work with me problem, and we'll go through and do that problem. So it says as of 2015, Rome, Georgia had a population of 35,973. So if we think about that, we can label the different parts as we go. So first off, we always know we're going to start with our A. So here we know that our starting point, or our A value, is going to be the amount of people we started with in Rome, Georgia. So of 2015, we know that we started with a population of 35,973. So let's go ahead and write that down. Now, if we continue to read, we find out that each year the population increases by 20%. So here we know that we're dealing with not a problem where we would use doubles, triples, or quadruples. We're dealing with a percentage. So we're going to use this formula over here with the R. So let's go ahead and fill in our R. So it told us that it's obviously increasing, so we're going to use a plus in our formula, not a minus, because minus is decreasing, plus is increasing. So here we know that we're increasing by a rate of 2.2. Or, if you wanted to write it, could write it as 20%. But the problem with that is, if we write it as 20%, we can't really do anything with adding and subtracting there. So we have to make sure we change it to a decimal. To change it to a decimal, just move the decimal place 2 places to the left. And then the last thing is we need to determine the time frame we're working with. So it says what will be the population in 2020. So if we start at 2015 and we go all the way to 2020, then we're dealing with a span of 5 years. And the way we find that is simply by taking 2020 and subtracting it from 2015. So for x, we're going to write in 5 years. Now, to solve this problem, it's very simple. Not a lot of work. We just got to plug it in now since we know all our information. So we'll use the formula y equals a times 1 plus r to the x power. So to solve this equation, we already know that a is 35,973. So we've got y equals 35,973. Then we have 1 plus r. We said our rate was going to be 0.20. So we'll write in 0.20. And then x is the only thing we have left, and we said x is equal to 5. So we're going to write this to a power of 5. Now to finish this problem, it's pretty much so a calculator problem. We always want to do our parentheses first, then follow it up by our exponent, and then multiply the last number in at the end. So if you work this out on your calculator, and I just so happen to have a calculator here with me, you can use the one on your Chromebook if you want to, or you can use one that you bring with you to class. So we're going to start off, we'll do the simple math first. Let's do 1 plus 0.20. So 1 plus 0.20. We know that's going to give us basically 1.2 or 1.20. We're still going to have it raised to a power of 5. And we're still going to have the starting amount written out in front. Now to simplify this, all we've got to do is put in our calculator. So we're going to say 1.2 to the 5th power. That's going to give us a decimal value of 2.48832. Rather than writing it down, I would simply just go ahead and multiply this 35,973 in, and then get my answer. So I'm going to take that decimal value and say times 35,973, and I should come up with a pretty long answer. You probably want to round this one, and the problem will probably tell you to round it, but I would round it to the nearest whole number since it's dealing with a population of people. So here I would round it down, so we're going to have y is equal to 89,512. Okay, so that should end up giving you your final answer of how many people there will be in the total population in Rome, Georgia, as of 2020, if it continues to increase by 20%.